Welcome to the final episode of Season 3 of Beyond Kalidasia, the show that takes you behind the scenes of the Kalidasia universe. I'm Jason, the creator of Legends of Kalidasia, and now this game right here, Kalidasia Fleet Commander. So, with this final episode, I want to do one more final shameless self-promotion. You can pick up a copy of Fleet Commander over at the game's website at kalidasia.com. And for this last episode of Season 3, I'm going to talk about the production method I used for this game. Way back in episode 3, I talked about there are several ways to approach tabletop game production, and when I got this episode, I was going to talk about what I did for Fleet Commander, which may or may not apply to however you're trying to do your game or any of your details like that. For me, this is the production type I use for less than 100 units. If it's more than that, well, this isn't a very good way of doing things. There's better ways to do it. And frankly, even with the process I'm about to show you, I've got some ideas how to make it more efficient in the future. But for now, let's start by showing you what I did, and then I'll explain why I did what I did. For the first production run of Kalidasia Fleet Commander, I went the print-on-demand route. I pretty much did that because I don't really know the reception a new game's going to get, and this is a great way to kind of test the waters a little bit without spending too much money up front. So with the way the game was printed, I had to sort out the components myself. So what I did is I made a giant poster board with sections of all the different types of components. I laid out all the components where they're supposed to be, double-checked everything was there, and then packaged everything up. Now this is not a fast way to do it, but for small production runs, it does work fairly well. Just be sure to factor in the cost of the time you're going to spend into the actual cost of the game. So why did I take this approach? Well, with print-on-demand services, you're kind of stuck with whatever format they have to offer. For example, Kalidasia Fleet Commander comes with 38 unit tokens in it, but the print-on-demand service only offered them in batches of 77. There was a similar situation with command cards. In addition, the dice that come in the game didn't come from the printing service. I bought them on the secondary market a lot cheaper. So what I ended up having to do was essentially one printed copy of Kalidasia Fleet Commander from the printing service. It's actually two copies of the game. I just got that copy home, I split it in half, and I boxed them up individually. Now if I went the mass production route, I wouldn't have to do all this sorting myself, but the problem there is it's going to cost much more money to get the custom tooling up front for the quantities that I need. One way I would likely improve this process in the future is to go a little bit more of an assembly line. Instead of assembling a single unit all at once like you saw there, what I'd probably do is take all the command card decks, assemble all of those, set them off to the side. Assemble all the sets of unit tokens, set them off to the side, and so on until all the individual types of components are all assembled together, and then assemble the final game by sticking all those individual pieces in a box and calling it done. And one other thing I would do is don't assemble your components on the ground. That's a great way to get all sorts of leg and back pain. Finally, I'm going to talk about boxes for like the third or fourth time this season. As I mentioned before, print-on-demand boxes are often really expensive or really time-consuming. The solution I came up with for Kalidasia Fleet Commander is not too expensive. It does take a little bit of time, and frankly it doesn't look as good as a professional box, but it's not a bad start and it's halfway there really. So what I've got is all the components are inside a pretty standard white mailer. Just had a bunch of these laying around, so I used that. And then for a wrap, I took black tag board, kind of thicker tag board I bought from the store, and using a template, I cut them out and folded them up really fast, gluing them together with super glue on the bottom, and then spray adhesive was used to attach a label to the front or the back. And then of course this kind of slides over it, giving the overall product a halfway decent look in terms of final product. Well, that's it for Season 3 of Beyond Kalidasia. Thank you for watching this season. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you found it very helpful. And a great way to say thank you for what the heck, one more shameless self-promotion is to head over to Kalidasia.com and pick up a copy of Fleet Commander. And if you have any questions for me, send me an email at kalidasiagames@gmail.com. I probably can still answer them on a future episode of this show. There will be more seasons, more things to cover, and just more cooler stuff going on here for the Kalidasia universe. So once again, thank you for watching this season. I'm Jason, and have a good night.